At authorsbroadcast.com, we produce and display book video trailers, short 1 or 2 minute videos that help prospective readers learn more about a specific new book. This episode of Authors Showcase is part 2 of authors we encountered at the 2013 Chicago Tribune Printers Row Litfest. Grab a pencil and make a note of some of the interesting books displayed. Now enjoy Authors Showcase.
Hi, I'm Jerrod Souter. I'm the author of the book Diego Rivera's Life. It was a wonderful book to put together because it combined an artist, his love life, and also the paintings that he did on murals over the years in the United States and in Europe. And then his love with Frida Kahlo in Mexico, and they became inseparable, and they fought and they did all sorts of things together. And when she finally died, the spark went out of his life. And then he died shortly thereafter. But he did a marvelous collection of murals that are seen the world over right now. And it was a pleasure to do the book. Well, the inspiration for the book was seeing Diego's murals in Detroit, he did for the Detroit auto manufacturer, Ford. It did a whole collection of them in this one building. And we saw those, we thought this would make a terrific book. And we told our Paris publisher on the idea, and that's how we got our assignment to do the biography of Diego Rivera. I'm the author of about 51 books right now, with 52 coming out in July on the U.S. Constitution. They're from all different types of history, military, United States history, and all of the race drivers, biographies, fine arts. It's quite a collection of stuff. But I'm curious, and that's what my life is all about. Write about things I'm curious about. You can find them at www.avril1.com. That's my website.
Hello, I'm Nick Rokicki. I'm the co-author of several books for children. Our first book was called Petre the Popcorn, and it came out last year on Leap Day, hitting 3 #1 positions on Amazon.com. It's a subtle anti-bullying book for children. It teaches kids to encourage each other every single day. PETE actually stands for Pursuing Excellence Through Encouragement. So I've traveled to 25 different states this school year and read the book to over 100,000 kids, teaching them to encourage each other every single day. One of our recent releases is called Casey and Callie Cupcake. It's about 2 chocolate cupcakes that are trying to be better than each other. So they jump in all these frostings and toppings, and they learn at the end they are perfect just the way they are, just like kids are perfect just the way they are. Newest release is called First Photo of the Royal Baby, and it's about a little baby that doesn't want to smile for its first photo shoot, but it turns out the baby's actually mimicking the queen, and she's not smiling, so the baby's not going to smile either. It teaches kids to always have a positive attitude because you never know who's watching you. So had a lot of fun at the Litfest, meeting a lot of young kids and encouraging them to read all summer long.
Hi, my name is Michael Blake. I am the author of The Holy City. Basically, it's a story about 2 brothers coming up in an urban community, a place where it's pretty poverty-stricken, and I just show how they go through different trials and tribulations of the community, peer pressure from street organizations, and just coming from a broken family background where there's no male role models. I kind of put you in a mindset of what's going on in the inner city as of now. It's a 3-part series. The second part should be out late August. And you can find me on Twitter at Michael F. Blake. And also you can catch me on Facebook, Michael F. Blake. And yes, thank you.
The following books are available at Amazon.com or ask your local bookseller. The Coach House by Florence Osmond. No Less in Blood by D.M. Perrone. Gotta Let It Go by Delia Lawrence. Going Home, Book 1, Alien Encounters Series. Getting Rich and Living Wealthy by Dane Marks. Grow Big, 60-plus ideas for party plan profits. In My Own Words, a do-it-yourself autobiography by Sheila Raptis. No Mystery Anymore, a no-frills guide to mystery shopping. Getting to Dry, How to Help Your Child Overcome Bedwetting by Dr. Max Meisels. Order one of these great books today at Amazon.com or ask your local bookseller.
So my new book is called The Blood Between Us. It's about three siblings. The oldest, Samuel, goes off to college, tries to do good, but always blows up in his face. In his one-bedroom apartment, he takes in a prostitute, a homeless friend, and an ex-girlfriend pregnant by somebody else. His brother Marco is biracial, still is in high school in their all-white community, star football player, but ends up quitting a winning season when one of his teammates uses a racial slur, and he's ostracized by the whole town, and he goes on a quest to find his biological mother. And their sister, who seems like the youngest but is the middle child because she has Down syndrome, and she uses Down syndrome to get what she wants from what she would call norms, and decides to become a superhero vampire slayer. There you go.
Rage runs red in the small Iowa town of Cedar Falls, where beautiful high school senior Jenny San Giovanni has an ex-boyfriend with a bad temper. Classmate Tad McGreevy possesses a special gift. He sees auras around others that tell him whether they are good or evil. While asleep, Tad suffers vivid and violent nightmares where he relives the crimes of the evildoers. When best buddy Stevie Scranton goes missing, Tad vows to do everything he can to find him. Now he must learn to control his paranormal powers to save the ones he loves. Enlisting the help of a retired policeman and a group of volunteers, this ragtag team of detectives discovers a monstrous evil more sinister than anyone could imagine. Red is for Rage is the second novel in the award-winning Color of Evil series by Connie Corcoran Wilson. William F. Nolan says of Wilson, "She's good, damn good." Red is for Rage by Connie Corcoran Wilson is available online and at your favorite bookseller.
Hi, I'm Catherine Witek. I'd like to tell you a little bit about my first historical fiction novel, The Trial of Misella Cross. It's set in 18th century England, tells the story of a poor young woman who is forced into prostitution. She ends up on the streets of London and is accused of committing murder. So she is thrown in Newgate prison and brought to trial. The first part of the novel, part one, she tells her story about how she ended up where she is. And part two of the novel tells the story of the trial. It's a novel actually based on a couple of essays by Samuel Johnson, an 18th century writer, philosopher, poet. He wrote a series of essays called The Rambler, and in one of those essays, he takes on the persona of a prostitute, Misella, and tells her story. Very unusual at that time for a man, a writer, to lend his pen to tell a woman's story. But the story was very interesting. I found it compelling. I used to teach those two essays when I would teach English literature. I taught at St. Xavier University in Chicago. And students seemed to like those essays as well. One day, an older returning student in the class, a single mother with 4 children, spoke up and she said, "That doesn't sound like a woman's voice. That doesn't sound like any of the poor women I know." And that triggered the idea for me. I thought maybe I ought to take those compelling essays and turn them into a novel. And so that's what I've done. A novel that I hope will appeal to women and men if they're interested in historical fiction today. So trying to give voice to an 18th century prostitute. Oh, it is available on Amazon.com, and Kindle. And you can check out my my website, CatherineWitek.com, and there's information there as well.
Hi, my name is Carla Suson, and I'm the author of Independence Day Plague. The book is about biological terrorism in Washington, D.C., taking place on the 4th of July, 2026, which also happens to be the 250th anniversary of America, and when party ought to be great and just perfect opportunity for terrorists to come in. It's available at Barnes & Noble. Amazon.com as an ebook and as a physical book, and you can get more information. You can get more information about it from IndependenceDayPlague.com.
Hi, I'm Chris Garlington. I'm co-author of the Beat Cup's Guide to Chicago Eats, which I wrote with Sergeant David Haynes, who isn't here right now. And you'll like our book if you're looking for a good lunch in Chicago. $10 or less, half an hour, you're in and out. This is written for people who work for a living. Every place in here is a place where cops eat, and it's cop approved. And except for one place, which is absolutely terrible, and I won't tell you which one that is. You can look it up in the book. But we ate at every restaurant in here. When I started out, I was a slim 110 pounds, and now look at me. It's this book ruined my life, and it can ruin yours too. You should pick it up and buy it. And it's too bad Dave's not here for this video, but I can now finally tell the truth about working with Dave. That is that he can't spell. Dave, I had to respell everything he wrote. I had to remove the word great from his reviews about 117,000 times because his reviews were usually, this is great, it's great. I love the way it's so great because it's great and the food is great. And I had to rewrite all that stuff. He mostly writes in crayon, and so I had to put it on the computer for him and everything like that. And I detest him. Thank you.
Millions of dollars are missing. Several partners are dead, and one man is determined to solve the mystery and save his company. But who can he trust? The world of high finance is a jungle where the naive will be eaten alive. The Tipping Point is a story of greed, complicity, fraud, then ultimately resurrection and restoration. From the slopes of a luxury ski resort to corporate boardrooms, the story turns even more deadly in a steamy Caribbean hotel suite, sending everyone involved scrambling for a safe haven. A culture of corporate cannibals has the remaining partners running for their lives, while the SEC and FBI try to piece together the facts of a conspiracy far bigger than anyone could have imagined. Full of action, adventure, romance, and intrigue. Assassination, suicide, and financial ruin are the tipping point.
Keating heard a popping sound over the noise of the radio and instantly felt the car swerve left across the double yellow lines. The Porsche began to fishtail. Black ice caught the car when the left front tire had blown. He fought to keep control, but he had been hitting 70 and was losing the fight. He overcorrected, heading for the guardrail. Jesus, please don't let this happen. With the left tire shredded, he was running on the rim and wasn't able to steer back left away from the precipice. He knew better than to hit the brakes and panic. He was on the downside of the hill and was picking up speed, or so it seemed. He chanced the brakes, a light touch, just to keep the nose straight, but the road made a sharp turn left. He crashed through the rail. His vehicle was airborne. The car was free-falling through a mile of frigid air.
Author Walter Danley draws on his observations as a commercial real estate investor, plus a vivid imagination to craft the characters and environment you will experience in The Tipping Point. Order your copy today at Amazon.com.
Hi, good afternoon. We're at the Chicago Tribune Summer Reading Fest, and I'm glad that our reporter stopped to pay some attention to Italians at Work. It's my book that I wrote, a kind of swan song to my grandpa, what they did for a living, grandma, grandpa, uncles, Italian Americans. The reason I wrote this book is that I got tired of the typical Barnes & Noble book that's Italians in crime or Italians in cooking or Italians in sports, and I thought, well, why did most of them really come? It was to get work. So I cover Italians here in Chicago over a 100-year period and what they found for work, typically railroad track work, stockyards, or small shopkeepers like barbers, tailors, musicians, these kinds of things. And my grandfather fit in, my ancestors did. It's been popular. I'm into the second printing. About 2,000 books now have been purchased through public libraries, schools. I'm a high school teacher by trade. And people just for nostalgia's sake, to talk about what Grandma and Grandpa did. We're standing pretty close to a railroad station where many immigrants on New York Central did come through Chicago, so it's appropriate that we have this book fair today. Oh, you can find it at Barnes & Noble. You can find it on Arcadia.com publications. You can find it here at this book fair if you visit my table. And I'm Peter Perro. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Victor Powell. I am a transformational author. This is my first book that I brought out to the world. It is entitled Just Be. Just Be is a combination of some of my personal journeys that I've gone upon that enabled me to achieve a certain success in my business and my career, and I put together a lot of the ideas that enabled me to do the things that I've done and to help people to, I would say, find what I call the infinite possibilities that exist in all of us. And this is a guide by which you investigate the possibilities within yourself and discover your own individual journey, and everything that you need to be on that journey will then begin to start appearing just by looking for it. And I hope my book gets the message out there and starts people at some point in time, at least looking inside for the answers that they've been looking outside for all the years. Because in my belief, everything that is begins and ends with the individual, and all it requires is them to begin to start the quest to find that answer within them. The book is available through my site, which is justbeing2.com, also at Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, as well as BalboaPress.com.
An aged widower with an acute awareness of his own mental decline is being moved across country at his daughter's insistence. Instead of flying, he chooses to join his grandson on a 3,000-mile road trip that includes daily readings to an urn of ashes, and for the two travelers becomes a spiritual journey of self-discovery and harsh realities. A must-read roller coaster of emotions, a cathartic tale of spiritual alignment and personal growth. Reading to Jane is an amazing story of loss and grief and the recovery that accompanies it. A fast read that is thought-provoking, funny, heartwarming, and uncannily familiar. The reader becomes part of the family, going along for a physical and symbolic journey with unlikely companions, each with their own tragic past. En route at campgrounds and rest stops, the cross-country travelers meet several colorful characters and eventually befriend a woman who is coping with an unspeakable tragedy that causes her to question her most deeply held beliefs. Her growing anger ultimately forces her to confront the demons of her past. Reading to Jane combines the reality of aging, the brashness of youth, the stigma of societal outcasts, and the turmoil of loss into an intricately woven 3-part adventure. Will Mary be consumed by her rage, or will she find a way out of the darkness? Mary and her unlikely companions come together in an unforgettable conclusion that contains all the surprises, humor, and warmth that author Carol Marshall is known for. You can read this novel simply for the pleasure of its wonderful story and unique collection of bizarre yet relatable characters. But each of the characters in Reading to Jane has something to teach us. This book is a journey to a meaningful existence and can point you in the direction of a more joyful and harmonious way to live. You won't want to miss Reading to Jane, available at Amazon.com.
Reno, so good to be with you on Authors Broadcast. I'm John Borling, Major General Air Force, retired, and pleased to be at Litfest with my new book, Taps on the Walls. Taps on the Walls was a product that had to come to fruition. It had to be created because I was a POW in Vietnam for 6.5 years. And there had to be a way to make time an ally, a way to run an uncertain race. And since creation is the essence of the human condition, and I had a fair liberal arts background, notwithstanding my Air Force Academy upbringing, I started to create poetry in my mind. Keep it memorized, tap it through the walls to folks, so in case I didn't make it, in case I died up there, that my wife would have some legacy. She was back here in the Chicago area with my 3-month-old baby girl who would be 7.5 before I would come home. Well, I didn't die up there. And 40 years have passed, and it's now because of pressures from well-intentioned people and some overly generous words from people like Senator John McCain, who wrote the foreword to this book. Mayor Rich Daley said some encouraging words, Gary Sinise, Medal of Honor guys, and certainly the people I lived with for a long period of time all wanted to see this book come to life. It's designed to make you laugh, make you cry, make you think. At the end of the day, it's a piece of my soul, so I hope people are careful when they get a copy and go roaming around in that soul. Very pleased with the amount of attention we've gotten nationally since February, and we will continue to march with Taps on the Walls through 2013 and into 2014. It's a book that can change people's lives. It certainly made me survive, and survive with honor, and a number of other guys too. Really appreciate the opportunity to talk about it on Authors Broadcast, Reno, so you keep marching.
A poem from the Martian polar cap. Ice and air meet, and with a lightness that stretches on so soft that even my blood feels weightless. Amongst pitted apertures, pockets of shadow shapes, around encumbrances, over provoked craggy bubbles I walk without sound. Still, yet spinning, thus a horizon, and upward to frozen cloudlessness, a daylight melted to black, packed with indecipherable constellations. In darkness of seafaring dark, more stars sudden as sparklers, though hissless, save for those same stinking bubbles under my feet, seeking freedom and reunion with the fleshless air.
Hi, my name is Malesh, and I am the author of Ghaby's Organic Garden. It's a children's storybook that educates kids about green habits, from eating healthy to planting an organic garden. So what we do is we go to schools and educate them through the storybook, but we also do is eco workshops to help them make green a daily habit. You can find more about Ghaby's Organic Garden on gabbit.com. That's greenhabitgabbit.com. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Sean Hayden, and this is Jen Wylie, and this is our third Printer's Row. And this year is a little exciting for us because we both have some new books that have come out. Mine is My Soul to Keep. It's a new young adult paranormal romance about a boy who sells his soul to the demons and ends up becoming one of the demons and falling in love with the daughter of an angel. And then Jen's book is Broken Arrow, and the sequel is coming out is out now as well. It's a young adult fantasy adventure about a girl who gets enslaved and escapes from the slavers and breaks away, falls in love, and doesn't even know it. And this year, Printers Row is a little special for the both of us because yesterday I wrote a marriage proposal in one of our new books coming out, and I snuck up behind her while she was reading it, kneeled down behind her with the ring. And so when she saw the proposal in the book, she popped up and turned around, and there I was. And she said yes, so we will be getting married soon.
To effectively accomplish important objectives in today's business environment, we must project a positive influence on those around us, including colleagues, managers, clients, suppliers, and others inside and outside our organization. Smart executives and company leaders are recognizing that etiquette is essential to successful business communication and can affect your bottom line. At the Protocol Praxis, instruction in the nuances and subtle psychological effects you have on others is not simply limited to the smile in your voice or selection of seating in a meeting and using the proper greeting, but also the elimination of negative actions such as the palm pinch shown here. For this gentleman, he unwittingly dismissed his female colleague with one handshake. Can your business afford to make a bad impression? Call today. We can help you and your staff project a professional, successful, and effective image that will win business and keep clients. theprotocolpraxis.com. In today's fast-paced business environment, people want to know as quickly as possible what your website is about and how you can help them solve their problems. A fast show and tell will keep visitors on your site longer and help them better understand your product or service. What keeps many small and mid-sized companies from including video is fear of production. You may not be sure what to say. Do I need to be on camera? Do we need to hire a production company? Well, the answer is not necessarily. There are unlimited ways to tell a story. Reno Lovison Marketing specializes in non-video video production. We use voiceover, music, photos, motion graphics, and screenshots to give your web visitors a quick tour of your site. Our goal is to take about a minute to assure your visitors that they're in the right place, let them know what you do, and give them some quick hints on how to navigate your site so they can easily find the information they seek. No need to have a talking head. No need for a full day of on-site video production. Just a simple phone conference and review of your website is usually all we need. Don't put it off any longer. Email us today and we'll show you how to get started with a quick, economical video that will help convert visitors into customers.
About 250 miles north of Chicago, Door County is Wisconsin's premier vacation destination, offering visitors of all ages outdoor fun combined with great food, performing arts, shopping, and of course, natural beauty. DoorCountyNavigator.com will help you find the perfect place to stay, play, and dine, providing all the resources you'll need to plan your trip. Be in the know before you go. To learn more about Door County, tune in to A Peek Inside the Door, seen weekly on Chicago Cable, Channel 25.